Welcome back to the channel, guys. Come on then, baby. I'm going to do a little Q&A today because I've had some questions since starting this like a couple of days ago. So I thought I'd answer some questions and yeah, just chat a little bit. I made a little note on my little notepad. So the first question that I got asked was how to deal with loneliness and specifically negative thoughts when you are by yourself, because it's very easy when you are with someone else and are having negative thoughts to just talk to them, to just get them to say something. I used to, when I was with people, I used to be like, can you just talk at me for a while? Because then you can come out of your head and get into someone else's head, and it makes things a little bit easier. But now I have more time by myself. Doing that is quite difficult. Like coming out of the negative thoughts are quite difficult. And I like to sort of frame it as emptiness isn't a bad thing. Emptiness can mean there's an absence of stress or an absence of criticism, an absence of anger, an absence of negative things. So actually, you can find peace in the emptiness. If you are by yourself, you are sort of in more control because you are just focusing on your own thoughts, your own emotions. You're not having to navigate anybody else's. And that can be quite peaceful, really. So I try to see loneliness or emptiness as a place for peace and a place for bliss. And obviously, I have little things that I do. I will have like the TV or podcast or music on to make it feel less lonely. I will have activities to do. I will make sure that I am doing stuff to kind of distract from the loneliness at times. But I think finding peace in the emptiness is a really good way to look at it, because that can put you into a really nice, calm, blissful place because there's not a load of stress and anger coming from other people. So I think about it as emptiness being a good thing, and space and calm and peace all being good things. Another question was how to deal with OCD like on a daily basis. So I was diagnosed with OCD when I was 15, which is 10, 11 years ago now. And I have the type of OCD which is routine based. So I do certain routines to make sure that people stay safe and make sure that bad things don't happen, basically. So my day to day, I have a lot of different things that I do which are routines that keep people safe, essentially, or that I think keep people safe, because they don't actually. It's just a form of anxiety management, isn't it, OCD? So day to day, I will have all my little things that I do, which I can kind of disguise as regular things. So, the way you get up in the morning, or the way that you like have a shower or make your breakfast, or they are all routines, but they are disguised as just things that you do anyway. So I kind of don't really notice in that sense. But if I get stressed or overwhelmed, or there's something bad happening, I will get very, very fixated on the routines that I do. And I will specifically look out for them and kind of check for them and even make new ones, and just be very, very hyper vigilant about all of the things that I do. So the way that I leave the house, the way that I say goodbye to the dog, and the way I walk around the table, pick my keys up, leave the house, lock the door, that's all a routine. So if I'm more stressed than usual, that is 100%, getting done specifically, because otherwise the anxiety is too much. And another area of it, I guess, day to day or regularly, is kind of the intrusive thought side of it, because you tend to get quite a lot of intrusive thoughts with OCD, and they tend to come in more when you're stressed or you're experiencing some kind of negative emotion, and they're quite challenging to deal with because obviously they're always worst case scenario, they're always very vivid. I get intrusions as well, which are images as well as thoughts. So I will have horrific events play out in my mind just if I'm walking the dog or doing something really sort of straightforward. So they are also challenging. But again, it's that separation from the thought. It's understanding that it is an intrusive thought. It's not a true thought. It's something that you can step away from. And obviously, that takes practice. And there are different skills that you can learn to help with that. But it's just the distance from the thought, understanding what they are, understanding why they're there, and also understanding that they don't need to be there. So I guess that's the day to day sort of OCD, intrusive thought kind of thing. Another question, which I found really interesting and quite topical, was how to deal with like hate online. And I obviously make TikTok videos and they're about mental health and mindfulness and that sort of thing. And I'm quite lucky in the sense that I don't get a lot of hate per se, because I think it's quite difficult for someone to comment hate on a video that's about anxiety. You know, like you have to be a certain type of person to do that. So I tend to be quite lucky with it. But I posted a video a couple of days ago now, which it's funny because I formulated it to see if it would get a reaction out of people. So if you haven't seen it, it was basically me painting the ceiling in my bathroom. Now, there are four things I think that I made sure I did to see if it would agitate people, to see if people would comment on it or would get sort of offended by it. So the first thing was the bathroom is pink. Like I was using a pink paint, but it's like a dusky kind of pink. It's a lovely color. But on the phone, as I was filming it, it kind of looks brown. It doesn't really look pink, but obviously in real life it is pink. So I said that I was painting it pink because it is pink, but it doesn't look it. So I was interested to see whether people will comment on that. The other thing I did was wear clothes that you wouldn't paint in. Like I just wore clothes that I'd wear to go for lunch or go for dinner or just go out somewhere. Just as are people going to get offended by the fact that I'm painting in non-conventional like painting clothes? The other thing I did was spell painting wrong. I put painting instead of painting to see whether people would get offended by that. And the overlay of the text that I put on the video was painting or painting my ceiling pink because a man told me not to, which actually happened. I was having a conversation with a friend. He was like, "Don't paint your ceiling pink. That'll look ridiculous." And I was like, "Well, now you've said it, I'm going to," as a jokey kind of just having a laugh kind of way. And I was interested to see whether people would either back me up, like women would back me up and go, "Ceiling looks great, like go for it," or whether men would be upset by the fact that I was doing something, like they get touchy about the fact that I'd said that. So I posted this video as my own little social experiment. Never have I ever got so much hate on one video. It was flooded with men slating me, saying it was a thirst trap, saying it was an OnlyFans promotion, saying it was like attention seeking, like having nothing else to offer. All of those, like just really, really getting upset by this video. The amount of people that were commenting on the fact that I was supposedly colorblind was also hysterical because they were like, "Is there pink in the room with us? Like, that's brown." It's like, perfect, that's working. People correcting my spelling, perfect, that's working. People getting upset about the men thing, perfect. People getting upset about the fact I'm painting in jeans, perfect. Like, it worked exactly as I thought it would work, but on a whole other level. And I was sort of prepared for it, but there's also a very human part of me that is just reading these hundreds and hundreds of comments going, I actually feel a little bit, it kind of makes me want to retract and makes me a little bit sad and a little bit like, people are being mean, that kind of way. And also people were taking it very, very far. Like I was going through all of them. I've had two, all guys, this is, no hate to the guys, but just thought it was interesting. I have two guys told me to jump off a bridge. Two guys told me to jump off a cliff. One guy just outright said to end your life. I thought, how on earth have I posted a 15-20 second clip of me painting a ceiling and I have had 5 people tell me to end my life? How on earth do we live in a world where that is A, socially acceptable, B, seems like a funny, jokey thing to comment on someone else's page? And also the fact that I make videos about mental health. I'm quite open with the fact that I have a few different mental health conditions. I've overdosed myself 3 times. Like, this is a page of talking openly about mental health, and I've done something that has then invited people to tell me to end my life. It just absolutely baffles me. And I think, like I said before, I'm lucky in the fact that not a lot of people say mean things. And you could say I've set this up for people to be mean. But I thought people would be a little bit like, who wears jeans to paint, or that's the wrong color. I didn't think I would get people telling me to cease to exist because I've painted a ceiling. It's bizarre to me. And I think it's a good reminder that a lot of people are on the edge constantly, and their capacity is so full that they can get pushed over the edge by the simplest of things. And it's also a very good reminder of just being careful what you say, because I can sort of get over it and I can just let it roll off me. But if I was in a less stable place than I am in now, that could have so easily just made me feel horrendous. And I just think it's such an important thing to remember, to just be nice to people. It's wild to me. So that was, I guess, entertaining, but also an important thing to remember. Um, that's kind of the main questions that I got and the things that I kind of wanted to cover. Obviously, if you have any other questions, then let me know, and I will happily sit and natter on for ages. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment, do all of that fun stuff, and hope you have an amazing day. And I will see you in the next video.